Thank you for inviting me to Vienna. More than thrilled to be able to see this beautiful city, and also to participate in the research programme. And you know, already I feel like I'm personally getting some value out of it as a coach, so huge thank you for that. And sorry, I'm Paula Woods, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I am Tünde Erdös, and I am based in Austria. I'm a full-time executive coach, and now I've reached a point where I would like to do some research, because I'm very curious. What is it that we still do not know that we might need to know to serve our clients? So that's why we are here, I guess, and thank you for coming over from the UK to Vienna. What is the metaphor that you would use to describe your inspiration to participate in this project?
Really, for me, I think it's similar to being a chef. So you have such a variety of chefs, from the local pub through to Michelin star, and I think it's the same with coaching. So you have, you know, if you're using the freshest ingredients with a highly skilled chef, then the results are going to be excellent, and of value to the customer and the client. And you know, I'm thinking about that in terms of coaching and how we make this more professional. And I see research as a key ingredient to that. And that's why I suppose I'm inspired to see how to make an impact on coaching and for the profession of coaching as well.
I feel totally thrilled doing this and looking into presence especially, right? Because there is so little that we know about it. It's funny because we know that the coach-client relationship is so important. It's supposed to be the biggest predictor of effectiveness in coaching.
The chemistry
the chemistry, but what is this chemistry? And how does it manifest in the relationship then, and how does presence impact a client's effectiveness then? So this is what I found like, wow, this is fascinating, and we really don't know. We have ideas around it, what it might be, and theories and concepts, but do we need to know more or have a greater clarity around that? That was what inspired me.
Excellent. And I think it's knowing how to put that into practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as part of joining the research programme, the coaching sessions that I've done so far, I'm just much more aware of it, so aware of my own body language, the impact that has, whether I'm making people feel nervous or excited, and just how I have a level of control over that, and helping them understand their own body language and what that is actually telling them. So sometimes people can, you know, feel despondent or worried, but sometimes you have to reflect it back for people to realise.
Okay, so you reflected back then, and how does that land with the clients then? So what do you experience?
They don't realise that their emotions are leaking through, and that you can recognise that and share that, and then they really resonate with it. And I find it helps them open up, so it takes us to another layer where you're getting closer to the heart of the matter. They're starting to share things that maybe they've never shared with other people that are really important to them, and I think you're starting to look at the values that they have and the reasons that they do things. So I've really started to notice a difference.
So things crystallize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, lovely. And they get a different touch or taste, or I'm just noticing that I'm smelling this flower here today, so it gets a different smell as well. The whole relationship is getting a different flavor then.
Absolutely.
Coming back to the chef metaphor that we're using.
Yeah, with the and a key ingredient within that is body language, and equally it can work the other way. So I know sometimes when I'm tense or my body language is quite defensive, I immediately put the client on edge, and straight away I can see it's more of a question and answer rather than an exploring possibilities.
It is precisely this dance and this dynamics that we are looking into to see, like, okay, so how do these two individuals on this journey impact each other? Because it's not just about the one or the other. it's relational. It's there is interconnectivity. There is this movement, and so I'm curious to find out. So what will we see when finally, like, when we can see that in the relationship? And I think you will do 10 hours of coaching conversations. So what will unfold eventually? What will be the patterns? And how will clients make sense of that? Because basically this is about the clients. We're doing that for the clients, and to be credible to our clients when we work on professionalism. What is professionalism for you?
I think it's a really good question, and just hearing you describe that flow is really where I think the skill and the experience come together and make such a difference. You know, and it's improvement. Every time you coach, you can see areas to improve. And you know, I tend to reflect afterwards and think about, you know, what could I have done more to be in service of the client? How could I have improved that? Help them gain better insight. And you know, it's wanting to be the Michelin star equivalent in the coaching world, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds like you're very courageous, and I admire all the coaches who have come on board, and actually we are there. So we have reached a stage where we have got the number of coaches to participate, or the number that we needed to participate, so that we can see something substantial from these 1,500 hours that we are looking into, like a massive amount of data.
Huge.
So I'm very happy, and it's owing to you as a courageous coach to do this, because there's also an element of vulnerability in this, isn't there? Like, you need to be open for being evaluated, or because this is videoed, right? So when we're looking into this bodily dynamics, this nonverbal interaction thing, we need the videos. We can't do without. We could have nice conversations about what you believe, how you show up, and I could then also do like at my bit, but we couldn't really make a more objectified sense of what this dynamics really is about. And then having the clients report about how they felt in each session, this is the value that I think it will create.
The self-evaluations that they're doing afterwards as well, they're really enjoying, because I think it gets them to reflect on how effective was that coaching session, and what have I learned about myself. And sometimes they need that quiet time afterwards just to get the real value out of the coaching. So, you know, I think that seems to be working quite well as well. And I'll be interested in seeing the findings, and how does that progress from their first questionnaire to, you know, following the 10 hours of coaching, how they feel at the end. Because coaching for me is about results, and, you know, without the results there isn't, you know, it's just a nice conversation which, you know, you can have anywhere really. So I think it needs to be the results, and
the stick,
absolutely. And the body language part for me is really important, because I think, as we know, we're only hearing 7%. The rest, 55%, is body language. So if we're ignoring body language, we're ignoring 55% of what our clients are telling us. Which
and how
is
we
a
are
huge
impacting
amount.
them, right?
Absolutely, the other way around. So we're missing 55%, and we're not aware of that 55% we're giving out as well. And the rest is tone of voice, which as a coach you learn to control. But the body language, because it's quite innate, it's difficult to control as well.
It's innate, so it doesn't lie. So you can control it to a certain extent. But then it will give itself away.
And I think that's such an important point, because words, we do say things to maybe look good, or to come across in a certain way, or to hide what we're really thinking. But body language, it's quite a struggle to hide that.
So what would you miss if you hadn't decided to participate, or hadn't allowed yourself to be inspired to participate in this?
I think one of the things I'd miss is the experience. So the amount of coaching, which I don't think you can get enough of. It's back to the chef piece. It's that experience. It's, you know, constantly making the recipes improves the end result. So I think it's the experience. I also think it's learning more about myself. Which can only be good for the client. So I would definitely miss that. And I think it's back to that what you said at the beginning about being in that moment. I'm starting to realize what that feels like when you truly present and picking up on the body language, talking and just going with the flow. And it feels different to a conversation. It's difficult to explain, but it's the power of that, I suppose.
There is a certain power. Yes. Something that percolates. Yes.
Yeah. And I notice now when it's not happening, and it makes me feel disappointed, because I think, we could get there. But obviously, in terms of how you get there, is different with every client. So, it is experience to work out what's going to work for that individual.
Yeah, lovely. Now, I really want to acknowledge your readiness to be open for this experience. You said experiment, right? It's kind of like we're experimenting as well, because a study like this has not been done before. So this is the first time that anybody ever looks into this, and there are the coaches who are willing to embark in this with me. So I feel so awed and humbled that you are so aware of the relevance of professionalism and how we can contribute to our credibility when it comes to working with clients. After all, they pay our bills, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is something on top of my head, Paula. Can I ask you something? I'm so curious about one little thing.
Yeah, sure.
What's going on for you right now in how we are with each other and how you're perceiving me with my body language? And how does that impact you?
I think I'm conscious of the fact when we're sparking off each other and the idea comes, and you'll say something, I can see your eyes light up, and I think, that I've got something to contribute there, I want to share something. So I can see how the excitement and openness drives the same behaviour as well. And equally, if I'm honest, I feel, I can sense the tenseness as well of the filming, and, it's an interesting mix. What about for you?
Well, I'm noticing about myself that I am concerned about, like, how long are we doing this? Are we okay? And it reminds me of how clients might feel also when they are with us, like when we're in a setting and they are like, because we have an environment and we are sitting here in a lobby area actually, and so there are people coming and going, so how the environment as well is impacting, and still, like, you're so calm. For me, it feels like I can forget about all this, and this is how it feels to me, how containing this is. And then we're having this beautiful flower. I cannot take my eyes off that. So how much
Beautiful.
that also plays into how we are with each other. So how everything actually is not just like what we say, or what skill you would bring if you were to coach, or I were to coach, but everything else is here and playing a role, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great insight. And thinking of it from the client's point of view as well, it's quite often people will say, am I doing it right? Is this right? As a client, they're thinking, am I, using the coaching in the right way?
Yeah, am I doing it right now?
Yeah,
am I doing it right? With you here, yes.
So it has the same effect, doesn't it? Yeah, really, really useful to reflect on.
Yes. So how about we will have another interview like this?
Yeah.
And then reflect a bit all the findings, and also your final finding, because you will have come to the end of your journey.
Absolutely.
How would that be for you?
Yeah, that sounds a great idea.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.